That's the matchup we have this round. And we will get some information for you on what they're playing shortly. So Kyle, this is a spot you've been in many times. You're 6 rounds into the tournament. You'll be doing pretty well. What's going through your head at this moment?
In every single game, you just got to focus up. It's of course you come in with a record, but as soon as you touch the table, the record is completely irrelevant. You're just looking to try to take the win here. Get your 3 points and continue to push on forward. If you start thinking about what's going on round 9, what you're doing for day 2, where you're sleeping, what you're doing, where you're going to go eat, you're just in the wrong mindset. So obviously, just take the opponent in front of you and try to play your best Pokemon.
Yep, all right. These players are pretty much set up and ready to go, so we'll kick things off in a second. We'll see some prize cards out here. We do have an interesting matchup. We have a pretty standard deck on one side with, just Arceus and Teleon, stuff we've been seeing a lot lately. And then on the other side, we have a deck that has crept up a little bit more recently. It's going to be the return of the High King Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX.
Every time I see this deck, it is either 8-1 or 2-4. there's no in between, and it looks like it is doing very well for Greg.
All right, so here we go. We got the fist bump, and we're going to kick things off. Round number 7. We'll see who's going to take down this match. Will it be Greg's Ice Rider Calyrex deck, or will it be Ethan's Arceus V-Star? We do kick things off with Path to the Peak from Greg, and just a pass, no energy attachment. But we have seen, this Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX deck come back. Kyle, why do you think that is?
It's got so many tools, just being able to take advantage of the Inteleon line using that Drizzile, but also just having Melanie and being able to continue to push through, find these energies. You have cards like a Capacious Bucket that can get you extra water energies. It's something that everyone else is playing Energy Search for, and you just get 2 of whatever energy you need. It just feels so much better playing this deck, and the synergy eventually does catch up.
Yeah, everybody else is playing Energy Search. You're playing Professor's Letter.
It feels good.
Just a step ahead of the game. Great start so far for Ethan. On the other side, at this point, folks, if you haven't seen this deck, you haven't been paying attention. This is just a standard Arceus V-Star Inteleon deck. See Quick Ball, throwing a water energy away for a potential Melanie or potential Raihan in the future. Got the attachment on the Arceus. That's all you can really ask for.
Yeah, this was a deck that I was talking to Kenny about earlier. It's a deck I expected to see a couple more players start to lean to. It's very consistent. You have these high hit points. You can potentially add the Big Charm and feel even better. You also have a way to play against Crushing Hammer because you have that Melanie to accelerate those water energies. So it seems like one of the most consistent decks, but a lot of people were prepared for it. We see that Jolteon come in, and that's not something that Ethan wants to see ever.
Yeah, I'm not sure Greg wants to see it either. They're probably like, whew, dodge the Jolteon deck.
They just high-fived when they saw that they didn't get up paired to 6-0.
All right, so Greg going to kick things off with the first of, I'm sure, many shady dealings that we'll see over the course of this match. Pretty simple. When you play it from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, get to search your deck for any trainer card, put it into your hand. That does include supporter cards. So we'll see Greg go straight for a Marnie on this one. Kind of an awkward opening because you can see Ethan doesn't have many cards in hand, but this is one of these decks that really doesn't play many straight draw cards. You're relying on things like Melanie, Raihan a lot, and you play Marnie for the disruption, and you don't really play Professor's Research, so unfortunate, but this is just one of those spots where it's like, I guess I gotta grab Marnie. I don't think I have anything else to draw cards.
Right. Imagine if there was one Capacious Bucket to go with that, and then you search out that Melanie. It could be a completely different game. You could be potentially attacking with a Calyrex VMAX right now and be taking a knockout. So so many different things can happen. Instead, you find a hand like this where you have to Marnie, and it's not going to go anywhere either. He's got to hold this Drizzile for the following turn now.
Yeah, still no energy. Unfortunate start. Even Marnied cards to the bottom that were not energy. Still couldn't find one, or even a Capacious Bucket, doesn't look like.
Yeah, it has the Ultra Ball, and the Ultra Ball maybe in combination with Capacious Bucket would have been able to do something, but it seems like finding that other Sobble is going to be very valuable here for Greg.
And we do see an interesting tech card there. Leon going to the discard pile. When you play it, your Pokemon's attacks do 30 more damage. Probably more useful against Pokemon VMAX, not as useful against V-Star. Can be useful if there's a big charm or something like that, but Greg's saying, you know what, I'd rather just get a Sobble down than have a Leon in my hand.
Yep, hitting that 280 mark can be nice in a lot of matchups. Arceus is a nice Pokemon to take down, Arceus V-Star, but you got to get set up first.
Yep. Yeah, interestingly enough, typically we see stuff like Galarian Zigzagoon or the quick shooting Inteleon in Ice Rider decks, but I don't see any of that here. It looks like there's a lot of leaning on Leon to get that extra damage, so we'll see how this one plays out. Don't think you need it in this matchup, but all right, big Professor's research here. Also discarding a Leon.
This is just the secret sauce that people have discovered over the last week. We saw in Europe this was a pretty prominent card in a few players' lists, and everyone said, yeah, I can play 59 cards in a Leon.
Oof, rough starts from both sides. Ethan now missing the double turbo energy and has to just settle for another manual attachment of a basic water energy. We can see the Trinity charge to get some more energy in play, but obviously you're looking to get a turn to attack with your Arceus V-Star, so slow starts from both sides.
Yeah, the early path looks like it is certainly doing a little bit of work here. Ethan just hasn't been able to get much going. However, you got 5 energies, your opponent has 0. That feels good.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, now that I take a closer look at Ethan's list, looks very similar to one that won a regional championships in, or won a big event in Australia pretty recently. We did see a cross switcher hit the discard pile off that Professor's research. That's actually one of 2 cross switchers in the deck. So that other one will not be very useful over the course of the game. Unfortunate.
Could just play 2 catchers. What are you doing?
All right. So now back to Greg. We'll see if he can succeed on his quest for a water energy this game.
You know, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it is so big right now and just cannot get anything moving here.
Let's see. Shady Dealings for looks like a Pal Pad and now an Evolution Incense. We'll see what Greg decides to go for here. Just another Shady Dealings. Yep, I think we're going to see the Marnie again, Kyle.
Oh my gosh, this is so much effort for a Marnie. Of course, does find the Leon, so going to be able to also put that in, but this is going nowhere.
I feel like I've seen this turn already.
Both players just can't help but laugh. It's such an awkward position.
Okay, well, there's 3 games.
Yep. All right, so maybe this time Greg will find a water energy or a capacious bucket.
Wouldn't that be something?
1, 2.
Oh no.
Oh, we did it. They said it was impossible, but Greg pulled it off.
It's not much, but it's honest work.
All right, so where would you attach this water energy? You could go active and poke with a small attack, or go to the bench, assuming your active gets knocked out. What do you think is a better route here?
I feel like I'm going to get knocked out, so I'm definitely going to attach to the bench and make it just one step harder. Your opponent did only get 4 cards, and the path is down, so maybe that makes you feel a little bit better. But, I mean, we're just talking a Drizzile away from this just turning into a huge Starbirth play potentially. And sure enough, we see the level ball and the collapse stadium in hand. This could get ugly.
Yeah, one interesting thing, though, if your active gets knocked out, then your Melanie and Raihan you have access to. So you could just say, if it gets knocked out, at least now I have access to these supporters, which let my engine start flowing. If it doesn't get knocked out, great. But yeah, either way, probably reasonable. But if Greg is sitting on something like a Raihan in hand, might just want to attach to the active and say, I'm not really mad if you knock this out.
We have seen that he does love to play the Marnies, but yeah, having other supporters that work could be very nice.
Yep. So now we see the Shady Dealings engine in full effect. We saw Drizzile search for Evolution Incense, for Inteleon, for Shady Dealings, for another Evolution Incense, and a Scoop Up Net. And, well, this is probably not unfamiliar to people who've been playing the standard format recently.
We've seen this once or twice, yep.
So now Ethan still does need an energy card to attack with that Trinity Nova. Of course, now has access to Starbirth and, ooh, yep, Avery time.
That is very spicy.
Which, you're definitely throwing away a Sobble, but what else? A Sobble or a Drizzile?
I like having access to Drizzile, but it really just depends on the hands. Top decking level ball and not having a Drizzile would be pretty rough, so I think this is the right line here.
All right. Now, does Ethan have the energy to use Trinity Nova here? I don't know. We see a collapsed stadium. Okay, that's going to give access to Starbirth, which will allow Ethan to finally find an energy to attack. And now this game is finally going to get going.
Yeah.
All right, so if you're Greg here, like obviously your Ice Rider Calyrex V is about to go down, you're pretty sure.
Yep.
What kinds of things are you planning for as you see this going down? How are you going to play out the rest of this game?
Well, you know that you're going to have to accelerate energies, so that Raihan and that Melanie are going to be crucial into getting that onto that Calyrex V, and then you need to find your evolution so that you can potentially take a knockout here on the Arceus V Star. That's going to be the way that you stay in this game. You have to continue to put pressure on, and Ethan's going to do everything in his power to stop that by having the second Arceus V-Star and maybe a Big Charm later on to just add even more hit points.
There we do see Choice Belt going on to the active. That plus 30 damage will allow this Arceus V-Star to get the first knockout of the game and take down Ice Rider Calyrex V before it's able to evolve. And at this point, Ethan seems to be in the driver's seat for this game. Got two fully powered Arceus V-Star, at least close enough. And we'll see what Greg can do from here.
Yep, the 40 damage can be relevant. That's going to help take this knockout if Greg can finally piece together the cards. We do see the Melanie, and there was a level ball in there, so going to be able to cash in on keeping that Sobble.
Yeah, probably needs to draw at least one thing off of this Melanie, either an energy, a VMAX, something.
Oh, there we go. At least the evolution. That's going to be very nice.
There we go. And now you can see the level ball for Drizzile. Probably just finding a capacious bucket at this point.
Yep.
But this is a little bit awkward because there's nothing in hand for the following turn.
Yeah, you maybe could see going for Evolution Incense into Inteleon, into Scoop Up Net and Capacious, so that you can maybe restart that chain again. But now you're pretty reliant on finding the Inteleon to have something going on next turn.
I'm going back in.
Yep, that's right. Greg says going back in, gonna attach. Just play another quick ball here. And we know there's no Sobble left, so probably just getting another Ice Rider Calyrex V on the bench. Now this is still an awkward thing.
Ooh.
Oh, okay, never mind. We're going to see the Crobat V. So much for not having anything left in hand.
That's going to be a nice card, nice addition. Unfortunately, an easy Pokemon to knock out with an Arceus, especially when your opponent just added a boss's orders to their hand. But they're not dealing with the threat at hand, which is that big Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX with a choice build.
Yeah, and I think this is part of why people have started trying out Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX again. It is a pretty difficult Pokemon for these Arceus decks to deal with. With Choice Belt, you can knock out an Arceus VMAX with Max Lance, just like we're seeing right there. And with 320 HP, there's no reasonable way to knock this out. So it's always going to be a two-hit knockout. So it's not a great prize trade. It's going to be, two-hit knockout for 3 prizes, whereas your opponent's probably going to take down 2 V-Star. So it's still a tricky path to victory for Ethan. If he draws everything he needs throughout the course of the game, you got to think, he took the first knockout, probably going to win, but it's going to have to involve probably boss's orders at some point.
Yeah, working your way through these 3 prize cards in the Calyrex VMAX is going to be tough. It feels bad leaving damage on board in this format. Most of the time you're looking to get a big one-hit knockout, and that's not going to be the case. But Ethan's going to do everything in his power to set that up, and you can do that by way of maybe removing this choice belt and adding a little bit of a buffer with that big charm.
Both of those things are huge. You know, these days you look at the HP values. You know, you got 280, 320. Like, just 30 really make a difference.
Oh, yeah.
It turns out, yes.
Big time.
The attacks in this format and the attackers that are chosen by players are very deliberate to hit certain HP thresholds. So anything like adding 30 HP to your Pokemon can make a huge difference. And there we do see Boss's Orders going after the Crobat V, taking the 2 prize cards here and saying, I think I can close this out if I just take those 2 easy prize cards and then find a way to deal with maybe 1 more V or just knock out this VMAX.
Yeah, if your opponent does try to go for a second attacker, you can just target that down and you're in a great spot. Don't think we're going to see that out of Greg. Instead, he's going to have to commit all of his eggs into this basket in the active spot. And this is a tough spot. You're going to need to accelerate energies by way of that Melanie or that Raihan. And that means that you're not going to be able to use cards like Leon if you want to try to hit these wild damage caps that you need to. So there's probably not going to be a knockout happening here.
Well, there was a tool scrapper for Greg as well.
Whoa.
All right.
Excuse me.
Take that, big charm. So yeah, this is still going to be a lot for Greg to have to put together. And we actually see searching for an air balloon here, which I don't think is one of the cards you would want if you were trying to go for a knockout.
I think that tells the story right there. If there was a choice belt, then we would have seen the knockout happen if the energy were to come into the hand. But looks like that is not going to be the case.
Yeah, now I'm curious to see if we'll see like a Raihan at this point to attack with the Inteleon and use Aqua Bullet, perhaps. We are going to see the Raihan, see where this energy goes. Oh, still going active.
Also, a very dangerous benching of the Ice Rider Calyrex V.
Yeah, I think at this point, Greg's probably just conceding to the fact that if my opponent has a Boss's Orders, I'm not going to win. I'm not going to get a knockout this turn. I'm going to have to retreat this VMAX next turn. So I might as well just try to set myself up for a world where I can potentially win, which I think makes sense.
Yep. Just got a real nice look at Ethan's hand. Not only was that probably one of the best turns he could have had last turn, I think there's an Echoing Horn in hand.
I do think you're correct.
That is nuts.
Yep, it'll be pretty good here. Let's see. Greg's bench is down to 4 thanks to the collapsed stadium, but still has the open bench spot. But yeah, even I guess the Echoing Horn for the Crobat is gonna be the game if there's a Boss's Orders followed up with that.
Yeah, we do see the Sobble and Drizzile spots open on the bench, so any piece of the Shady Dealings chain would likely be able to get it done.
Yeah, question is there any Boss's Orders left? We said there is the cross switcher.
Yeah. It doesn't look like it.
Okay. Could also see something like Palpad, shuffle in the Boss's Orders, and then go grab it.
Double Melanie in hand.
Yeah, if Ethan has no access to Boss's Orders at all for the rest of the game, this can get really tricky.
Yeah. Yeah, taking a 1 prize Pokemon right now in the Sobble doesn't feel good, especially if you have to deal with 320 hit points that has an air balloon and is going to find a way to retreat into a different big attacker later on. You're going to have to deal with one of these Pokemon, and it just isn't happening if you don't have the Boss's Orders.
Yep, Ethan's still going to press the advantage here, take the knockout on Sobble, go down to a single prize card. And the question is, where does the last one come from? You have to think it's going to come from a Boss's Orders at some point. We see Greg attaching a 3rd energy to the active. Does have the Leon.
Oh, Leon.
Do we pair it with the Tool Scrapper to discard your own air balloon and a choice belt? That would get the knockout. You can discard the big charm and your own air balloon, attach a choice belt, and get there for the knockout.
Well, it's base 250, right?
Yep.
And then you have the 30 from the Leon, gets you to 280.
Oh yeah.
I think you don't even need the belt.
That just does it, yeah. I was thinking that the Tool Scrapper didn't work for some reason.
Way to go, Wrench.
Okay,
this is a big turn.
This is going to put pressure on Ethan to find the boss's orders right now, essentially. This is going to put Greg down to 2 prize cards. There is that Arceus V-Star on the bench. We'll see what Ethan has left.
Oh, single switcher. No PAL pad.
And Greg opted not to discard the air balloon, maybe out of choice belts at this point. But if you're going to set yourself up for the knockout on the following turn, you would just commit and discard the air balloon.
Yep. Looks like Marnie into potential Sharon's Care, Savior, Arceus V-Star is the line that would happen here. Just trying to keep up with attackers, and having that Inteleon and the quick shooting is maybe what keeps you just a step ahead in this game, but it's going to be a lot to ask for. Greg's going to have to find next to nothing off of this Marnie.
And the PAL pad is actually Ethan's last prize.
Oh.
So that's why there's no access to boss's orders at this point.
Let's go quick shooting active.
The quick shooting to the active. Going to see an Aqua Bullet that unfortunately just does 100 damage and does not hit the bench since the reduction from the double turbo energy. At least it shouldn't, I think. We'll see.
We'll leave that up to the capable hands of the judges.
And now we'll see what Greg draws. That was a big Marnie as well. Gonna draw 3 cards off this Melanie. Needs to find another energy and does find it. Okay. So Greg's still in this game. Probably gonna have to retreat and attack with his benched Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX and puts pressure on to find another Melanie for the next turn.
I'll attach.
So this one's gonna be still down to the wire. We do see one more Melanie left in Greg's deck. He has no way to search for it at this point. No shady dealings. It's going to have to basically just be a raw draw off the top next turn, trying to thin out the deck a bit, play the level ball. There's no Sobble left. And Greg will go with another Max Lance. Has to discard 2 energy. Still pretty painful. Discarding 1 would only be 130 damage.
Oh, I quick shooting active. Oh.
And I think players are trying to resolve. Yep, we got the double turbo thing figured out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And now Greg is going to put himself in a spot to win.
Less damage. Yeah.
And the players figuring out, oh yeah, there's a double turbo on the Italian. Yeah, we got that one fixed.
Good.
We're good. We're good.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, this is such a tough spot right now. Just trying to put together the game-winning damage is going to be tough.
Yeah, and I didn't get an exact count, but it kind of looked like there were about 5 cards left in Greg's deck. So if that's true, and Ethan is unable to win on this turn, Greg would have about a 1 in 5 shot to top deck that last Melanie
1, 2, 3.
and perhaps win this game.
It's 37, 90, 100.
So
Oh, we're riding.
okay, and the other option, if you have boss's orders in hand and choice belt, you could just wait till the next turn. Then you can put on the choice belt, boss up the Arceus V-Star and Max Lance for the game.
And then I'll hit you for 100.
All right, good. All right, just another quick shooting plus Aqua Bullet. And we see the choice
Oh
belt.
my goodness.
Attach.
There are boss's orders to go with it, though.
Oh, this is so tough.
I don't think, just
Yeah.
ride of the High King, and that will be the last ride for this High King as Arceus V-Star comes out and uses Trinity Nova to clean up this game. So that was a close one. Went really back and forth. Greg had some opportunities there to get that game, but Ethan ends up taking game number 1.
Yeah, it was pretty wild back and forth there. Just Greg with the opener of no energies for upwards of 3 turns, trying to figure things out, and it really just wasn't happening. And then, boom, in the middle of the game, it just gets rolling. The Ice Rider Calyrex just showing off the sheer power And being able to tech in cards like that Tool Scrapper, that Leon, and having those choice belts available just really adds up. And it seems like this could be a really great matchup for Greg if he's able to find these cards at the right time and just get that basic setup where you get some water energies in the discard pile.
Yeah, let's not forget that game did not start very well. I guess not for either player. But you can see kind of what Greg's deck is going for. Again, this metagame has shifted a lot towards Arceus V-Star, and any deck that's able to do 280 damage consistently can deal with Arceus V-Star and can kind of carve out a spot in the metagame. We've seen some more chatter from people like maybe this is going to be a more regular thing as more Pokemon V-Star get introduced to the format. Maybe Ice Rider, Calyrex VMAX will have a home in the standard format, and you're kind of seeing why right here.
Just wait until Astral Radiance, too. It only gets better.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can see why a deck that is just Arceus V-Star with Inteleon can be so powerful. You have so much control over what you can draw every turn. 200 or 180 damage. It's not the most powerful attack in the format, but you can do it turn 2 almost every game, and then you have access to things like Boss's Orders, and when you're not playing any sidekick like the Malamar VMAX or Jolteon or anything like that, you then get access to play weird stuff like Echoing Horn and all these other tech cards that these other lists can't fit in.
Yeah, it's something that you got to see in the early iterations where everyone's still playing Crobat and Luminion, and you just continue to prey on that over and over again. But we don't see it in all these decks too much now. Thankfully did have that Crobat to prey on, but not this game.
All right, we're going to kick off game number 2. Greg's going to go first in this one. Kyle, what does Greg have to do differently in game number 2 to get a win?
Well, he found water energies. I like his chances.
That's true.
Oh, this is such a good opener. The quick ball water energy into the discard pile has the Melanie and using the level ball. Just going to get the full setup and gonna have energy acceleration on the second turn.
Yeah, let's not forget one of the turning points in the last game was the Avery that Ethan played, forcing Greg to discard a Sobble and a Drizzile. Really limited the options for the rest of the game, so we'll have to see in the second game, will Greg be a little more hesitant to fill the bench? Maybe only put down 4 Pokemon on the bench this time. And once you know your opponent plays Avery, you can kind of play around it a little bit, but sometimes it's tough. You want to just get as many Sobble out as you can.
Right. And at least play around the Collapse Stadium. If you're going to give one Pokemon, that's fine to the Avery, but this seems like a really strong opener here.
Yeah, and this is much more threatening if you're on Ethan's side. There's already an energy on the active Ice Rider Calyrex V. If you don't get a double turbo this turn and use Trinity Charge, you kind of feel like you're behind off the bat. And this is actually a matchup I've played before, and it can feel like sometimes if you're on the Arceus side, if you're behind and the Ice Rider deck gets going, they can just hunt down all your Arceus, knock them out, and it's just like, shouldn't be that easy to knock out my Arceus V-Star, but they just kept doing it every turn.
Right. How is this possible? Oh, no energies.
Yikes. Yeah, not even a water to throw away to use Melanie with. This is where you want Crobat V.
Yeah, that'd be a good card. Well, you can go ahead and get rid of that path and start thinking about next turn, but next turn you might be down an Arceus V.
Certainly possible. Just takes Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX plus an energy or a Melanie or something, and yeah, this Arceus V is going to go down. And this game's going to look way different than the first one. Kicking things off with the Melanie.
Bucket off the top, too. Doesn't even have to look for it with the Drizzile. That's so clean.
Bucket, yep. All right. And this is one of those spots where you can actually over-attach to the Ice Rider as well. You have to discard 2 for Max Lance if you want to get the knockout, but you can leave 1 on there and make sure that you can get an attack for the next turn. So this is what you're hoping for when you're playing the Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX deck.
Yeah, there was debate for some time if Ice Rider or Shadow was the better, and this looks really good.
I think
Greg didn't attach?
May have forgotten. Sometimes you forget after you play Melanie that you haven't attached. So that one's unfortunate, but still in a great spot Still got to feel like Greg's in the lead here. I mean, next turn you can follow up with another Melanie, attach, choice belt, assuming your opponent gets a V-Star out. So unfortunate that the manual attach for the turn was missed, but not the end of the world.
Yeah, can piece this together. Ethan still not in the best spot here. Would have loved to have seen an energy last turn. That could have changed things a lot. Instead, going to take a page out of Greg's book.
May as well. Your opponent does have like 7 or 8 cards in hand, so it doesn't hurt to throw those to the bottom of the deck and make them draw some better stuff. A couple times Greg has reached over, he's like, what does this card do? Sharon's Care? Weird, I've never had a Pokemon on my opponent's side that wasn't just knocked out immediately.
Yep. You don't have more than 280, go away.
I'll tap that. And you too?
So another Marnie, Ethan drawing 5, Greg drawing 4 cards. This will be a big moment.
Oh.
If Ethan's able to get Arceus V-Star, can potentially get something going. There's the Pass to the Peak in play. So cannot use Starbirth currently, which is going to make this really difficult. Still no double turbo. So at this point, what do you do?
Well, you lose a switcher and a boss. That hurts so much.
At this point, I am looking at this and wondering, is it time to just concede and move on to the next game? Maybe you just wait and see if Greg plays another Melanie and does another attack. But I'm not waiting too long. There's under 20 minutes left in the round. The game's not looking good.
Oh my! Wow.
0 cards in hand.
Oh wow! Greg's hand was so bad, but he top decked the Melanie. Are you kidding me?
All right, 3 cards off of that. Finds a Lava Ball and an Incense, and oh yeah,
and a scoop up, and that's so good.
What if you just drew every card you wanted?
That's double Drizz, triple Drizz. That's got to be it, right? You can find the Scrapper, you can find the Energy, you can find the Belt, and you can make this Arceus V-Star go bye-bye.
Yep. So we see 1 Level Ball finding Drizzile, finding Capacious Bucket, Evolution Incense finding the other Drizzile. Hasn't been played yet. Hopefully you're keeping up at home.
Manual attachment, we love to see those.
Yes, Choice Belt. Just need to see Drizzile for the Tool Scrapper, and I think we will be moving on to a 3rd game if that happens.
I think so too. We're going to see just the 280. The Sharon's Care was split in the discard pile.
That's true.
So maybe a calculated play here by Greg can just take the knockout next turn and then target down the Arceus V for the 4 prize swing.
I'm gonna guess probably not, but I like your I like your optimism. Just draws the Drizzile.
That's so good.
Okay, well, that changes things a bit. What's left for Ethan to even grab, though? Eyeing up an Avery?
He pulled up an Avery, yeah. That doesn't seem very good.
Let's see, I don't know if there's any counter stadium. Collapse Stadium lets you Starbirth. That's a little better than just drawing 3 random cards.
I like that a lot more. Sharon's Care wouldn't even be good, although it does seem good to not get knocked out. And it's way too complicated to get set up.
All right, well, this game's going to get a little bit more interesting now. Don't think Greg saw the big charm was caught off guard when 5 dice headed for the Arceus V-Star instead of it just going to the discard pile. Going to see Avery once again, and Greg will throw away a Sobble. Only 1 this time, much less painful.
Yep.
And there we go. Trinity Nova going to hit into the Ice Rider and accelerate onto another Arceus V-Star. And the question, is there another Melanie?
I just want to see a Tool Scrapper.
That too. Now we see the Drizzile from Greg. Another shady dealings here. And yeah, we'll see the Tool Scrapper. We see another Melanie. It's a little bit awkward. If you tool Scrapper here, the Arceus V-Star does get immediately knocked out, but then Ethan would be able to send up Sobble or Drizzile. So there won't be an opportunity for Greg to win the game then, because he would have to play Melanie for the supporter, which means he can't play boss's orders. But there it is, the tool Scrapper. It was there in the deck. And we'll see the fabled tool Scrapper for knockout.
Oh, yes. I feel like this happened a lot more years and years ago, but it does happen in 2022 every once in a while.
And off the prize cards, we see the Inteleon with Shady Dealings, so can find the Melanie if need be. Just has to use Ride of the High King for the knockout on this Drizzile. And, Greg's going to go down to just one prize card. And we'll see what happens next. I think Shady Dealings from Inteleon only found one trainer card. Have to say, it is nerve-wracking to be on the stream. It's easy for us to sit here and look and say, oh, what's going on here? But, it is stressful being under the bright lights.
Down a game, and
Yes.
and there's
Backs
15
against
minutes
the wall.
left. Yeah, yep. This is a very high pressure situation, and it seems to be getting to Greg a little bit. But honestly, he's in a really great spot this game. So if it's working out, even though we've seen a couple hiccups here and there.
Yep. Game's not over quite yet. Ethan will be able to get the knockout on this Ice Rider and take 3 prize cards. And depending on what Greg has, this game could be over this turn, but if Greg does not find something like Raihan or yet another Melanie, this game could still swing back into Ethan's favor.
Yep. We do see the choice belt in hand, so that's a very good start. And
Okay.
yes, the scoop up net.
That's gotta
I
be
think
it.
we're going to see 2 cards pulled off of this Inteleon. Shady Dealings is going to be so crucial.
Yep, either Raihan or Melanie will get the job done here with the choice belt already in hand. Just need another VMAX.
Raihan can grab it for you. You can grab an Ultra Ball. There's a million ways to do it.
Yep. Do you see Shady Dealings? Like you said, going to grab 2 this time. Do you see Greg playing the Raihan? Water Energy is going to get attached to the active. Get to search your deck for any card. Just grab the VMAX. See the attachment, the choice belt, and Max Lance for the knockout. And we are all tied up 1 game apiece.
Yeah. And that seems like a lot more like how this matchup should roll. It obviously, Ethan's playing a lot of cards that can help him in this situation, but it's really up to Greg. If Greg finds the right cards, having that Scrapper, having that Leon, having extra energies in play by way of that Melanie, you can see this matchup really starting to turn, and Greg having a pretty great matchup in front of him. He's just now in the spot where he only has 13 minutes to try to close out, and Ethan's going to be going first and maybe getting a nice setup of his own.
Yeah, you can see this might be one of those matchups where going first is a really big deal. We saw the dynamic played out way differently when Greg went first and was able to just attach an energy to an Ice Rider. You're not under immediate pressure from Arceus attacking you. So we'll see now that in the 3rd game, Ethan can decide to go first. Maybe he's under a little less pressure of getting his Arceus V knocked out before it evolves into Arceus V-Star. And no, we do have those situations where Arceus V-Star is able to knock out a V before it evolves into a VMAX or V-Star, and sometimes you can just run away with a game. So, I know so far we've seen 2 games play out differently. The first one was really close. The second one, I think, a little less close.
Yep.
Still tense at the end, but we'll see how game number 3 goes.
Oh, no.
The upside down prize.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, this is definitely round 7. It is starting to wear on us, and this is a very high-pressure situation, as you can tell.
Both players seem to be in good spirits, though. All right.
Oh, no. Why does this keep happening?
So many mulligans.
Game 3, somewhere in the teens left of minutes, and just always going to see at least 2 or 3 mulligans. Whew. Gonna have to play fast, gentlemen.
As someone wise once said, gotta go fast. All right, so yep, we will wait until Ethan draws a basic Pokemon in the opening 7 cards. Of course, you can't start a game of the Pokemon TCG unless you have a basic Pokemon or some wacky card like Talonflame, which can start as your active Pokemon.
I'm trying to forget San Francisco Worlds, okay? Can we get that out?
All right, finally got one. We see prize cards here, nothing too terrible. And we're gonna kick things off with an attach and a pass.
Oh, goodness.
Just attached to a Sobble.
Leon Pierce.
That is possible, yes. I was trying to think if there was a way for Greg to win the game and knock out a Sobble. Typically, no for an Ice Rider deck. And no, just gonna pass.
That's not okay. What is happening?
Can't keep calling for an Arceus,
You can try.
but you can grab more Sobble. That's at least 3 more turns until you lose.
Oh, we're hearing the big brain plays coming down from Ethan. I love it.
Okay, well, didn't think this is how the third game is going to play out. I do believe Greg has a level ball in hand, so can find a Drizzile and maybe do something. Quick ball as well. Oh yeah, this is
the quick ball is perfect.
yeah. This sets up the perfect play. You grab the bucket, discard a water with the quick ball, then you Melanie, attach the other energy that you got from the bucket. And as long as you got VMAX to go with it,
Yeah. You
You
rip it
can-
off the 3 for the Melanie. Easy.
sure, that too. You start to see the High King start to ride once again.
Giddy up. That's the only time that you want to be doing 100 damage in this matchup is when it's just a Sobble army.
All right, so yep, this is the combo you have to do. Now that there's water energy in hand, you quick ball to discard a water energy. Go get a basic Pokemon, sure, but the main thing is you get the energy in the discard pile so that you can play Melanie, attach it to your Pokemon, which doesn't count as your attachment for the turn, and you get to manually attach and pull off an attack. Normally, it would take 2 turns to power up an attack, like Ride of the High King or Max Lance, but with these supporter cards like Melanie and Raihan, you were able to speed things up a bit.
I was wondering if Greg was going to go for this Crobat, and it seems like if you just slap all of these tools down, you're going to be in a pretty good spot, and sure enough, he is going to get 3 additional cards. Palpad for no effect is not a thing, so we're going to just draw 3 cards.
Greg asks, can I play a Palpad if I have no supporters? Answer is no, you cannot do that. And we're going to see Crobat for 3, looking for just the VMAX at this point.
Yep. Not yet, but of course, 3 more cards off the Melanie could find it. No. Yes.
There is the
Wow.
incense. So we're going to see turn 2, Ride of the High King. And Greg's going to put the pressure on. Ethan needs to draw something soon.
Oh my gosh. He just fanned the hand. It's so bad.
Yep, I would imagine. Didn't do anything besides keep calling on the second turn.
There is a boss's order, so maybe you stall and bring up the other Ice Rider, but this is not good.
Yeah, that's certainly an option. It already has a choice belt on it, so.
I have 4 in hand now.
Going to see the Palpad, shuffle the Melanie and Raihan back in. And a little awkward that Greg did use the quick ball here and not discard a water, so now it does open up that boss's orders play. So yeah, we'll be in for an interesting one here. Hopefully it doesn't come down to boss's orders stalling things out, but unless Ethan draws something, that's where we're headed.
It's not the first time we've seen it on stream today, and it used to be an ancient way to win Pokemon games. Instead, it's the optimal strategy. Here comes the boss's orders on the choice belted Calyrex.
Oh no. This is supposed to be like the most consistent possible deck, right?
Yep.
It's Arceus V-Star, has Starbirth. You have the Intelligent Engine to search out whatever trainer cards you need. But even then, sometimes this happens where you just draw a bunch of Sobble. Well, I didn't even draw the Sobble. You searched for a bunch of them.
Yeah.
You just draw all your cards that just do nothing at the beginning of the game.
His deck has given him nothing to work with so far, and this is nasty. We see the Capacious
Oh,
Bucket.
there it is.
The Quick Ball is going to be able to put a water energy into the discard pile, then is going to get accelerated by the Melanie onto the active. You can then have your attachment for the turn, and we do see a Scoop Up net as well, so that leads to a Drizzile finding another Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX. There's a lot of Kings riding today.
And yeah, even though it's only doing 70 damage right now, that's enough to knock out a Sobble. You know, if there's no additional bench Pokemon next turn, you would have to discard with Max Lance to knock out a Sobble. And we'll see if
another Drizz.
Did he find another? Oh, that can get to it. Another VMAX. Otherwise, you know, the retreat is a little painful. Would much rather just attack.
Yeah.
This is what peak Ice Rider looks like. Melanie every turn. Whew.
Keeping energies on board, too, is just nasty. We don't see that too often, but when you're playing against Sobbles, this is exactly what you can do.
Here we go. Another ride of the High King. Knockout on another Sobble. What does Ethan draw? An Arceus.
Another boss stall. Crobat, maybe. Everything else can get Scoop Up netted.
It's like may as well, right?
Yep.
Gotta go for Crobat, yep. Maybe you don't have a water energy.
Oh, we're asking so much. There's another full Inteleon line in hand.
Wow. So I think Greg has used 2 Capacious Buckets at this point. Typically, that's all you play. So there may be no more ways to search for basic energy in the deck. And I think Air Balloon is gone. There may actually be no trainer card to search for that can remove this Crobat.
Is there a way to thin and draw? Can you search for maybe a Marnie and try to draw it?
Marnie feels real bad.
That's real bad.
There is one Professor's Research, which also feels real bad.
That's a lot of resources.
Okay, so we're going to take a look, see what's available here. I guess at this point, like the Marnie certainly doesn't feel good, but you are so far ahead.
Yeah. The energies are in play. The knockouts are available. Go ahead and grab the peak just to give a little bit of insurance just in case the V-Star is to come on the following turn.
Yeah, the only way this really backfires is if you don't draw an energy. If you reset your opponent's hand and don't attack this turn, that actually does give an opening to your opponent. But you got to think there's pretty good odds you're going to draw water. Right?
Maybe.
Right?
Do these lists play 7, 8? What does it look like nowadays?
Looks like 8 this time.
Okay. There's a chance.
Uh-oh. 4.
One more? No!
Well.
That hurts.
I didn't play. Oh, I played Marnie. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Played Marnie. You already know there's no trainer that helps you, so that could be the opening Ethan needs.
Oh, there's a collapsed stadium. This Crobat could get knocked out. It doesn't feel good, but you can grab a Tool Scrapper and maybe slow down these the potential knockouts.
You can, yeah. At this point, I mean, if you're in Ethan's shoes, probably playing for a tie at this point. Just playing not to lose.
Yeah, I'm changing shoes.
I don't know if you're really going to win. I guess it's possible. But yeah, you got to wonder what the strategy is. Collapse Stadium is going to force maybe Inteleon to get discarded. A little weird. Depends on how many scoop up nets you have left.
Yeah.
But yeah, now with the Path to the Peak out of play, Starbirth has been used, and like you said, there's the Tool Scrapper. So both those choice belts gonna get scrapped, and it might make it harder for Greg to get knockouts on these Arceus V-Star.
Yep, I can't remember if the Leon was pow-padded back in. I think I saw it earlier in the game, so that could assist in one of these knockouts, but the second one gets a little trickier.
No kidding, especially if a big charm comes into play at some point.
Oh yeah, like here.
And we got 2 minutes to do all this. This is a
Yep.
lot.
Maybe the boss's order gambit paying off for Ethan. Do see shady dealings once again, grabbing the big charm. And we'll go on to the Arceus V-Star to give it 310 HP, make it that much harder for Greg to knock that out. Now one silver lining for Greg. He's already got those two VMAX powered up, and there is an Arceus V on the bench for Ethan. So this could be a turn where Greg plays boss's orders, takes out the V before it evolves, and then all you need to do is knock out one V-Star. And that means you only need to play Leon once.
Yeah.
And you can win the game that way. So Greg still solidly in the lead. But yeah, now it's a race against the clock.
Yeah. If Greg is able to announce the attack that takes a 2-prize knockout before time is called, you have to think that he's going to find a way to do it. But it's getting very close.
All right, big charm out of the Arceus V-Star. Will we see the Trinity Nova? Looks like scoop up net. And yep, Arceus V-Star going to the active spot. Trinity Nova for the knockout. We'll charge up another Arceus V on the bench. Now it's on Greg. Feels like you need to find a knockout this turn.
Has an additional energy, so it doesn't have to worry about having the Melanie on the following turn. That could be beneficial. And we see Leon, but level ball 2 for the Drizzile for the choice band, but choice belt, but I don't think that's available. I think we already saw 2. Is there a scrapper?
I think tried to play Raihan or Melanie, but there is no water energy in the discard, so you can't do that.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll.
It's if the scoop up net gets the tool scrapper, then this is a knockout with the Leon.
Yeah, the question is, do you go for boss's orders this turn? Just knock out the Arceus V on the bench before it can evolve?
Yeah.
But no, looks like Greg is going to go for the tool scrapper. And we'll see Leon, max lance, 280 damage. This will go down. But if time has been called, that means Greg's only going to have one more shot to take the game-winning knockout, and we'll see if it's possible. Ethan is going to send out the Arceus V. Greg now down to just 2 prize cards. And it's going to be a long road ahead for Ethan. There's no easy path in the next couple turns to get all these knockouts.
Yeah, it's just not possible with the if time was already called. We're assuming so. To take the knockout here on the active, it's going to have to take 2 hits, and we'd have to see quick shootings on a Sobble or something like that to make it work. I guess there is technically a way. If he's turn 1, he can deal 200 damage, and then maybe work in an attack with the other Inteleon doing 120 and 20 to a Sobble.
Sure.
And you get the quick shootings, but that's it's in the discard pile. It doesn't look like it's happening.
Okay, it sounds like Ethan is turn 0 here, so Greg will get 2 turns to try to close this game out. And I guess there is a world where Ethan wins, but it seems more likely that Ethan's just going to try to not lose.
Yes.
So now we see Shady Dealings, Evolution Incense for Arceus V-Star. That is the thing with the most amount of HP you can put up here. Greg is at 2 prize cards, so knocking out 1 Drizzile doesn't really do much in terms of making him win faster. And because of where Greg attached the energy last turn, it actually does put him in an awkward position. If he wants to attack with the active Ice Rider, has to be a Melanie, which means no boss's orders. Air Balloon, I believe, is already gone, so I don't think there's any way for Greg to move this without, Melanie and attach. So I don't think Greg can win. Both choice belts are gone as well.
Yeah.
And this could be a situation where something like a Charon's Care could also come in and deny Greg the last 2 prize cards. There's still a lot going on here.
Yeah, you almost need to.
It's also a cruise ship outside.
I've heard it once or twice today. Beautiful boat.
Yeah.
I think the play is since if Ethan is turn 0, Greg goes ahead and accelerates energies to the active and then just passes the turn and then just tries to work in that Leon turn because you don't want to deal damage and then deal with the Sharon's Care picking it up. You need this Pokemon in play in order to win.
Yeah, that's awkward too, though, because without Choice Belt, Ethan can just retreat.
Well, hey, don't do that.
So yeah, this may have come down to where Greg attached last turn. If he had attached active, I think could have seen another, like, Palpad the Leon back in, play it, use Max Lance for the win. But because there's no energy left on the active, I don't know if he has an option. We will wait and see. Going to be a close one.
The resource battle is wild here. Just trying to piece together amplifier, reduction, amplifier, and now you need the boss's orders too, most likely, to make this all work. It's just asking so much.
Yep, so there's the Trinity Nova, 200 damage. And now it's going to be back to Greg. Can he find a way to get the last 2 prize cards here? So Melanie in hand. Draw 3 cards. Don't believe there are any choice belts left. There's also no more Capacious Bucket, so drawing a water energy is also not trivial. And there we have Shady Dealings, finding 2 trainer cards. Again, I don't know what's left.
Yeah, not much is the answer.
That is correct. At this point, you kind of just take stuff out, right? You just want to thin out your deck so that you can draw water energy next turn. I guess we'll see if the Palpad's even in there. Yeah, Boss's Orders and Path to the Peak as the 2 selections. Neither of those cards really going to do anything this turn. And this has been a series full of awkward situations.
Oh, yes, that's a perfect way to sum this one up.
It's just easy, right? You power up your Pokemon and attack. That's how it works.
Me big smack. Not today, though. Well, Dunsparce Manaphy. Yep, that's good.
Okay,
Run
so
away.
There we go. Just going to see Ethan retreat and say good luck.
Yep.
And that's going to be it. We will end in a tie. So Ethan finds a way to, stave off defeat. Greg looked like he was in position to win, but was not able to do so as time expired. So going to end up in a tie for this one. And that was a close match. Got to see some fun stuff on both sides, but was not able to reach a conclusion.
Yeah, both players were 5-1, I believe, going into that. So now going to be 5-1-1 ultimately. And getting that tie on your record isn't a bad thing at all. You still have 2 more rounds to potentially get those 3 match points and put yourself into day 2. Both decks look primed and ready to do just that. And just avoid a couple more awkward spots, and you got to get there right eventually.
Yeah, those are some of the rounds that can really mess with you mentally, where it's like, I was going to win that, right?
Yeah.
It's like I was so close to winning. And you can't let those get to you. It hurts. It's like I was so close to getting a win, which pretty much guarantees getting into day 2 at this point. Now it's just a tie. Now I have to win a different round. So sometimes it feels like those are those missed opportunities. But all you can do is accept the result and move on to the next one.
Yeah, I mean, looking at what Greg was able to bring to the table, that Ice Rider deck looks really good. It has a lot of potential great matchups, especially against those Arceus decks. Being able to hit those big numbers, just finding the optimal plays is going to be what really is going to put Greg in that great spot in